ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no bail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it is that time of the week for Three Men in a Box, NCAA Insiders, Friday Night Lights, as we're getting closer to the end of the regular season, conference play, regional play, super regional play, as our good friend Mr. Peyton Manning would say, Omaha. That's right, the Final Eight, where the fun really begins. But super stoked to have Matt Grissom and Nick Hathcote here to take a few minutes out of their busy schedule. Let's talk some college baseball. I'm damn tired of Shedeur Sanders and the NFL draft. We'll get back to that around 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. Of course, it's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download that app. It is free. Viva Tequila Seltzer. 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And last but never least, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Jump on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Mr. Terry Smith, then come on back to AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizer, wine. Terry's got it all. It's a set it and forget it for plans as well. If you just want Terry to deliver your protein for the month, the only thing you'll need is a spare propane tank. So without further ado, yes, Quentin Mills still on assignment. Tell him we said hello, boys. Mr. Matt Grissom and Mr. Nick Hathcote. What's up, boys?
Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, Jeff?
Well, let's just get it out of the way. We had months and months of NFL draft talk. So, Matt, I'll give you a minute or so. What'd you see last night? Did you have a ticket or two, or were you just rooting for a favorite player or two?
Yeah, I had bet Jackson Dart every which way possible. Second quarterback drafted under 24.5, got burned under 21.5, caught that last steam. I really thought that we would see a trade up and somebody get him before New Orleans did at 9. That obviously didn't happen. Thankfully, he was the second quarterback drafted, but that's about all that went right for me last night. So back to college baseball.
Mr. Hathcote.
Yeah, I had 2. I went 2-0. I was on Jackson Dart as well, just because I thought the number was it was plus 275 for him to be the second quarterback. So I took that one, and then had a nice exacta of plus 385 for Tyler Warren to go to the Colts. So me as a Colts fan, I was kind of on the inside side. It was either going to be him or Loveland, and I knew that was a 50-50 shot. If Loveland gets taken, he kind of grew steam towards the end. So I was like, if Loveland gets taken first, Warren will be there and the Colts will take him. So I thought that was nice little exacta that I hit there. So yeah, a little 2-0 NFL draft bets.
You know, and it's kind of funny. You want the perfect storm, and then at 14, Tyler Warren sitting there the whole time. A lot of Colt fans that we talked to, that was their guy. And
Yeah, oh
then
yeah.
at 15, the Falcons are like scratching their head. Okay, we haven't had an edge rusher in 2 decades, and you're Jalen Walker, who played for Georgia, who was supposed to go top 5, is sitting here at 15. So they draft him. And then the I don't want to say bonehead move of the year, because I love the move to come back in and get the Tennessee edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
But learn your value charts. Call up Jimmy Johnson and say, hey, what are we going to give back? They even threw in a first-round pick. That's how much they love this guy.
Yeah, same with Browns. I think the Browns got a great deal out of that trade out of 2 as well. Like they got next year's first, they got this year's first. They added on two picks this year, 2 more picks next year. So I think they got a great one too. And I mean, that was for Travis Hunter. So it's like, yes, there's a chance he's a generational player, but I don't expect that to really move a needle and make them extremely competitive. So the chances are the first round pick you're giving up next year to the Browns is going to be like at best it'll be somewhere in the top 10, and the Browns will probably be in the top 10 again. So the Browns next year could possibly have like 2 top 10 picks, and it's just like, all right, I think they won that one. A little right out of the movie kind of fleecing there. Draft day. Kevin Costner.
There you go. And I Vontae Mack, right? And so I guess I'll ask you both this, and then we're getting on to some baseball. Browns get the second pick of the draft tonight. I'll go to you first, Nick. Do they take Shedeur?
No, I don't think so. I think that was one of those. If they were really interested in, they probably would have taken him at 5. I think it was being talked about quite a bit last night. I don't think they're totally out on Kirk Cousins. It does kind of tie up. It's going to depend on what Atlanta is willing to eat from that contract. But no, I do not think they end up taking Shedeur. Personally, I think it'd be a shock. I think he will now ride it out probably halfway through the second round. Because I think if a team was really high on him, they heard it like last night. All 4 of those teams around like the late 20s, like high 30s, were willing to trade back to somebody, and nobody was biting on it. So I think that really tells you a lot of where Shedeur actually ends up going.
And the funny is, if they knew how this was going to play out, they could have stayed at 2, got Travis Hunter, and then they could have actually had the hookup here starting today with the second pick if they wanted Shedeur. Matt, does the Browns take Shedeur?
I don't know. I think they may. I think everybody's kind of shocked that he's fallen this far, but I'm not. No hate on the kid. If you watched him play at Colorado, he just didn't have that like correct leadership mentality to be able to go in and lead men in an NFL locker room. And I think a lot of the, anonymous reports and stuff from the GM that came out, that kind of shined a light on what anybody that paid attention to college football had seen all season. I mean, he underthrew pretty much every single receiver on any deep throw. You talked about liking Jalen Milroe earlier. I mean, when you're talking just pocket presence and escapability in the pocket, I think Milroe is probably better at both, and throwing deep. I don't know, but it would be the most Cleveland Browns thing to go ahead and do it, and then him sit on the bench for a year or 2 and maybe get some humble pie. Who knows?
Well, the funny thing is the Eagles Super Bowl champ sitting at 32 call up KC, hey, can we flip-flop and we'll throw you a 5th or whatever the deal was. And then they just, they're the SEC. They have half of Georgia's defense from the last couple of years. And we'll just add an Alabama guy this year. I mean, the rich get richer. Some of these guys, Baltimore, the same thing. They fall into them. And Joshua Simmons, I had pegged for Kansas City. Hey, we lose a left tackle. If the kid didn't get hurt, he would have been the first tackle off the board, of course. But the rich get richer, but that's why we're the Patriots, and we'll just, sit there and we got alligator arms. No disrespect, Will. I know you're going to be a great one. So
I'm curious to see Travis Hunter's contract because, he said, I guess in the offseason that he what he does on the football field is what Shohei Ohtani does on the diamond, and he thinks playing corner and receiver is harder than pitching and hitting a baseball, which is crazy. But, I mean, do they pay him an astronomical amount to play both sides?
No. I think he's that unicorn. And listen, how do you practice both sides here and be a star? I mean, if he's that gifted, God bless him. But I mean, you just were a part of a defensive package that was on the field for 13 plays, and then we're just gonna do the kickoff, and then we're gonna say, all right, Travis, come on, you're lining up in the X, Y, or Z, whatever.
Yeah.
I find that hard, but we'll have plenty of time in August and September to break that one down. Mr. Grissom, what'd you see midweek?
Gosh, that seems like so long ago now. It's been rare that we've had, Fridays be when the series start. Most of them started last Thursday for Easter and on and so forth. Nick, what did happen?
Take over. Yeah, I'd say the couple surprising ones. Georgia getting shut out, a 2-hit shutout at Clemson. Once again, it's that thing where
Are we
it's
really that surprised with
yes.
that one?
No, I'm talking. That's why I started off with the 2 hits and getting shut out, because once again, I mentioned it. They're so different on the road. They just got swept at Vandy on the road. They won 1 game at Texas, and now they went to Clemson, which is actually a hitter's ballpark, and got 2 hits and shut out. So that was a surprising one. Another one that should have been high scoring. Auburn, Georgia Tech was 1-0. Kind of what's going on with this Georgia Tech team. So that was an interesting one. And then obviously I'll just say it because I was there, like Vandy getting beat by MTSU, a little in-state rivalry there, was just cool to see in person. But yeah, I think those were the ones that stand out. And then UC Irvine staying hot, beat UCLA out on the West Coast. They're just getting closer and closer to being an automatic host.
West Virginia ended their win streak. They lost 3-2 to Penn State. Arkansas swept their little midweek against UALR, and then Kentucky was my only bet on Tuesday. Minus 143. They took care of Louisville to even up that midweek series that they do. 17-5. The Wildcats are just still hanging around, flirting with that being a pesky little team that you don't want to be in Omaha.
Before we get to Friday Night Lights, weekend updates, plays that you guys like, we like to circle the board here. Nick, tough battle in Baton Rouge. Tennessee travels to LSU. I'm looking at DraftKings. I got a handful of games, only minus 120 tonight. Thoughts on what to expect this weekend from your Vols?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, mostly because the environment, like at Alex Box, I think, like we were talking about, possibly the 2 best pitchers in the SEC right now, definitely the 2 best lefties, I would say. So it'll be like tonight is the matchup to watch. So it'll be a great win. I think the winner of tonight wins the series, is kind of how I think it'll go. So I could really see it going 2-1 either way. Neither team is, I would say, clicking right now. Going into it, I know LSU had a good weekend last weekend, but it's also a weekend removed from getting swept at Auburn. Tennessee, is this a wake-up call? Because they should not get beat in the series at home against Kentucky, especially the way they did. Giving up 16 stolen bases in a weekend is kind of embarrassing. So it should be a wake-up call. I think it's one of those where Tony can kind of kick him in the ass a little bit, for lack of better terms, and hopefully get them right and take 2 or 3. But like I said, I think the winner tonight wins the series.
As I said in the intro, Quentin Mills still on assignment. Quentin, you are missed. So, Matt, you get the front stage here as Arkansas travels to the Swamp. I'm looking at right now Arkansas minus 180 on DraftKings. I didn't know Hagen Smith making a guest appearance tonight, or you got the horse for the course today, Matt.
Yeah, it'll be the other lefty wearing 33, Zach Root, taking on Liam Peterson. I don't know. This Arkansas team has lost its last 2 SEC series. I think This is going to be tough. It's hard to go into Charlie Condon and get a win, albeit that Florida is down this year.
Charlie Condon.
Did I say Conjuring Family Ballpark? What am I doing? I'm about to shotgun this energy drink because I need to wake the F up. Sorry, Q. That's what happens when Q's not here to correct me. So, anyways, back. I got to get back. Arkansas is going through this hot, cold, hot theory, and Ben Upton and Dimitri at 11.7. They kind of monitored this and they track it. I guess it's a good thing if you want to look at like trends of what has happened over the years. Arkansas started really hot. Now they're kind of cooling off. Can they get hot again? The problem is they've got to do it against the best of the SEC the rest of the way. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. You get Florida, you get, I think, Texas, LSU, and Tennessee, the remaining schedule. This is going to be tough, but, I mean, this is what you have to go through if you want to get to Omaha and win it all. And I still think Arkansas is in a great position to do it. They're top 5 in both team hitting and team pitching and all the advanced analytics. You get Gage Wood back for like a second start for him. Now I think he was on like a 20 pitch count last weekend and he got roughed up. I don't really think you can put a lot of stock in that. Plus A&M's just playing out of their minds right now. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm actually more excited to talk Texas A&M than I am Arkansas, Florida. But I think it's accurately priced to kind of put a bow on this. Arkansas minus 180. Do you trust us enough? Do you trust Zach Root to go out and not have another bad outing like he had last weekend? Minus 180 is a little expensive to lay. I would probably be on Florida money line or pass, or Florida run line or pass, although we don't have that right now.
Before we dive into your selections for tonight, I'm just looking at the board quickly here. Florida State travels to Louisville minus 200 for the Seminoles there. Virginia, Georgia Tech. I never had this on my bingo card. Not only a 14 on that game for an under-over. Georgia Tech minus 238, how the mighty have fallen. Virginia Tech at Duke. Duke a short favorite, minus 130 there. Vandy at Ole Miss. Ole Miss minus 125 there. Oklahoma at Georgia. Georgia minus 220 there. Okie State minus 135 at Cincinnati. West Virginia at Central Florida minus 160 for the Mountaineers. We talked about Arkansas minus 180 at Florida. Auburn hosting Mississippi State. Auburn minus 166. Arizona at Texas Tech. Another one. I didn't have this one on my bingo card. Is Arizona minus 188. We talked about Tennessee minus 120 at LSU. I will stop right here. Texas A&M must-watch TV tonight. The Longhorns only minus 130 there. Oregon State, Oregon, great matchup there. Oregon a short minus 120 against the Beavers of Oregon State. And last but never least, UC Irvine minus 166 at Cal Poly. Nick, any of those jump off the page to you?
Well, the annoying thing is I don't know why every time we hop on your show is right when the lines start coming out, because we literally had 9 and now I'm trying to literally look at these because we're up to about 30. So,
yep.
But
they know when we're having a show,
and they just don't want me paying attention. But the one I played so far, because I was kind of waiting on numbers. I know Matt goes a little bit higher, like money lines. Like I kind of cut my limit before turning it into like a parlay piece. But I went ahead and played Oregon. I played Oregon at minus 120. I think kind of the thing here is I think Oregon State wins the series. I think they win 2 or 3 with Dax Whitney and Ethan Kleinschmidt on the hill. But Grayson Grenzel for Oregon has just been stellar this year. So I think, especially being at home, I think they win tonight. I think that's priced a little bit too low at minus 120. So I that's the one I like. Just a couple other, like I said, was waiting on some lines just to kind of like that I will probably parlay is I really like Auburn minus 166. So I think that's in the range where like if you were like you can play that by itself if you go up that high. for me, like I'll try to pair that and make it around like plus money with somebody like maybe like a Coastal Carolina, or somebody else that's fairly highly priced that I can count on to win today. That was one, and then you mentioned UC Irvine. UC Irvine's another one. I do like Cal Poly and kind of trust him, but Riley has been kind of the superstar pitcher that UC Irvine's been missing recently. Their offense is still going to be great, so that's another one that I really do trust today.
Mr. Grissom.
I'm like Nick. I'm just sitting here trying to catch up. We've got a lot of tight lines. I think that's good. Clemson, NC State minus 115 both ways. Michigan State plus 120 for State if Joseph DeJerwa is pitching, which oddly enough last week I think we all jumped on him and he had the worst outing of his maybe career. What was it, like 8-0 in the first?
It was awful.
Michigan State came back and won. No, like we always anchor a handicap around starting pitching. And when the starting pitcher blows it and you have to rely on the offense to come out and put up whatever it was, like 14 runs to win, you just pat yourself on the back and, you got it. Looking at the rest of the board, Virginia, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is probably accurately priced at minus 238. I don't know what to make of for Virginia right now.
Yeah, it's a stay away for me.
Tennessee, LSU. I think it's odd that Tennessee is actually favored in this. I think LSU minus 110 is definitely playable. It's hard to go into Alex Box and win. This is going to be a hyped up. They're going to be, intoxicated at Baton Rouge. It's going to get rowdy, and I think Tony Vitello lives for that. He's going to have his team ready. Oregon State. Nick touched on this one. He's high on Oregon State. I'm high on Oregon. I'm probably Oregon minus 120 or pass. I don't buy this Oregon State team. Their strength of schedule is concerning to me. Gosh, we've got so many good games. I could sit here and talk about all of them. Vandy, Ole Miss, Hunter Elliott versus J.D. Thompson. That's going to be a good pitching matchup. Same with Sam Dutton and Pico Cone, Mississippi State and Auburn. I also like Auburn in that one.
Yep.
I've been riding with Dutton a lot this season. So I'm going to let you pop in, or Nick can take over, and I'm going to keep looking at the board.
I know I'm trying to put stuff together in my head number-wise. I guess we can touch on, just because we haven't yet, obviously the biggest series of the weekend. A&M right now plus 100, Texas minus 130. Jared Spencer, Texas's normal Friday night ace, just got reported he's out for the season, having labrum surgery. So that sucks for Texas and the rest of college baseball in general, honestly, because now they've lost their best pitcher and their best hitter, Max Blue, he's out supposedly for they're saying maybe if they make like a super regional type of run or a College World Series, he could be back. But that's a tough loss. And the way this one's a weird handicap one, because this is one of the few where it's like you can almost handicap this more like a college football like environment type of thing of like which team is going to care more and which team's like really has that chip on their shoulder. A&M is the team with the chip on the shoulder. Like at Texas, it's like, yes, this is always a rivalry. They haven't actually played a weekend series since 2014, which was shocking to kind of when I was like going over this series this week. I was surprised they haven't played in that long. And all of the hatred is from I wish this game was in College Station, because then it would be ugly. But Texas, there's not much hate from the baseball program standpoint towards A&M outside of like normal rivalry stuff. All the hate stems from A&M. And it's like the A&M players of, hey, our coach left us. Michael Early, he kind of got a good gig out of it. But still, like, he was going to take him along and he didn't want to leave A&M in the first place. And Schloss took the Texas job. And you look at the roster, that's what everybody talked about when Schloss took that job, is all the A&M guys stayed. And there was very few that followed him. Like Cortez is one of the few that followed him, and he's not even pitching this year. And so it's like one of those things where it's like every one of those A&M players has a chip on the shoulder. Like I can just see some of those guys hitting home runs and literally pointing at the Texas dugout like right at Schloss. and like a see what you left behind type of thing. And the Texas players are just like, what's going on? So I think Ryan Prager, I think he needs a bounce back. He's been roughed up the last couple outings. But yeah, this is going to be one of those weekends where I might just stay off of all three because it's going to be so unpredictable on how it works. But if I was leaning something, I think the only way you can play it, me personally, would be A&M at plus money.
Matt?
But Riojas has been so good, and they just made him a starter like 2 weeks ago.
This may be a bold prediction. I could see A&M sweeping Texas, but I think they win the series. I'm big on the advanced analytics, and they have not liked Texas. They're 33rd in weighted runs created. They're 23rd in team pitching. You've got to get into the top 25 in both categories. They can still get there. I think losing Jared Spencer is going to make some of their pitching stats fall off a little bit. Team Sierra for A&M for the full season, this abysmal season that they've had, they're still number 12. And in weighted runs created, they're 55th. But in the last 2 weeks, A&M is 10th in team pitching. In team hitting, and 12th in team pitching. You talk about a team that is trending upwards. Meanwhile, Texas is 43rd and 36th. I think we've seen what Texas is. They're good. The SEC did them a lot of favors, getting a lot of home games against the tougher opponents. I think A&M, like Nick said, they're the motivated team. They're also the better team right now. And you may say you're crazy because Texas is number one.
And not losing. So it's just one of those, yeah. Matt hates them. The numbers hate them.
Just wait.
Yeah.
And I may keep saying that. I did it with Kentucky last year. Just wait. The numbers hate Kentucky. It took until Omaha to do it. But, A&M is they're leading Texas in home runs. They're leading them in batting average over the last 2 weeks. OPS is 200 points higher. WOBA is 0.5, 500 higher. Everything is leaning Texas A&M. So what's the worst that could happen? Bet Texas A&M, even money.
Guys, the scroll has been going the whole time. We always wrap it up here with everyone telling where you can find all your work, your plays, of course, on the Dub Club at the clubhouse. But Nick, tell them where they can find all the work.
Yeah, in Halfcoat 413 on X. Also, our free Discord. A lot of the guys already given out plays for today. Yet last night, in there, like for free, not us, but just like some of our subscribers and listeners and everything. It's a good place to chat among just other college baseball fans that follow it. Like, we know we're not a massive community. Like, college baseball is still growing for sure, but it's still not a massive fan base. So it's cool to kind of find people from all across the country to talk to about still what's a niche sport. And then, all of us will have our plays in the Dub Club. I know I've been very successful. I've done a very good run the last few weeks. I know Matt is too. So it's been very, very profitable recently. So all of our plays we posted in there. I'll probably post my first few in there shortly before we do our show. And then I'll dig in more like with the red lines and totals after they all come out. Mr.
Grissom.
I am sitting at, let me get you an accurate count here because I feel like transparency is good to share. Mm-hmm. I am 121 and 83 on the season. I think that's around 58%. Up 31.05 units. Just kind of slow and steady wins the race. That's how we've always made money. I always try to reinvest it into some futures markets too. But collegebaseballinsiders.com and at Grissom on X. Follow along. We've got all of the latest advanced analytics, everything absolutely free on the website, team projections, all that fun stuff, nerd stuff. Go check it out. And if you haven't already, join the clubhouse. You can get that final month in and see what we're about and then carry it over for the postseason package.
Nick, Matt, we can't thank you enough for our Friday Night Lights. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back on Tuesday morning. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thanks, Jeff.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
You too.
Go check out Nick Hathcote at nhathcote413, and of course Matt Grissom at Grissom on X, and you can check them all out at the NCAA Insiders. Mr. Quentin Mills still on assignment. Take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Mr. Matthew George talking about the NBA. We'll pick up where we left off yesterday. He had a great night as usual, and we'll see what he sees tonight and, of course, leading up to the weekend. So stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of the stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
Well, it's time to bring him on, Mr. Matthew George. What's up, Matthew?
Hey, Jeff. Good morning. What's going on? How are you?
We're doing well. We figured we'd talk a little college baseball, lead off everyone with them, and then here you are, back from a great night last night with your props, with your leans. What'd you see last night, Mr. George?
Well, it was a great in terms of the prop betting last night. We hit 4 out of 5 on our last bets. We just missed it by a basket by Nikola Jokic, only getting 23 points. He did get that triple double as we mentioned yesterday, and that was good plus money. But he just missed the 25 plus points that we had yesterday. But overall, basically what I expected from all teams except for the big blowout that was about to happen with the Grizzlies after a tremendous first half, after scoring 40 points in the first quarter, 37 in the second quarter, but then completely botched it in the second half, only scoring 18 in the third and 13 in the fourth. What happened? It's because of OKC's talent. You can't not let them go on a run, and that's exactly what happened. Thunder win by 6. The very surprising one last night was definitely the Clippers and Nuggets. They completely blew them out from the start. And even though we got the prop bets in, it was still a surprise to me that they only scored 83 points, even though Nikola Jokic, as we mentioned, put up a triple double, but that wasn't enough to secure a win.
Well, for the ECSI VIPs, the one number in the whole board, the whole market that jumped out like the awe factor, an OKC team who averaged 35-point wins the first 2 games, we know could have won by 75, not 50 in the first game. 9.5-point full game favorites, yet only 3.5-point first half favorites. We were all over Memphis in the first half. Plus 3.5, plus 4 at some shops, plus 4.5 at DraftKings, and box to wire boat raced them. But as you said, especially in the NBA, Matthew, I have been I'm an 80s guy. I'm a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson guy. We passed the torch to Michael Jordan. Today's basketball games are more of a 3-point shooting contest. The cream always rises to the top. You see this so often, Matt, is that a team up 2-0, like OKC, 9.5-point favorites, now traveling on the road. The team that the season's on the line, the Grizzlies, have that good first quarter, that good second quarter, a good 24 minutes, regroup, and then you saw OKC flex their muscles as they did in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be able to win every single quarter, or at least 3 out of the 4. That's what I said yesterday with you. If Memphis was able to at least win a good amount of quarters, at least the majority of them, they'd be able to at least win one game of the series. But that wasn't the case, and now they're down in this series, but big time. So, you know, it comes down to how, and that's what OKC was able to do throughout the entire game, and they were able to adjust at halftime and be able to come with the win. So it's just, to me, it's not surprising because they were able to make that kind of a run and be able to win. But it doesn't also surprise me that Memphis wasn't able to hold on to a first half lead, and then not be able to maintain that in the second half. It's like, it, I hate to date back myself, but when I remember when Iona was playing in the NCAA tournament, I think against like Duke or UNC. Oh, it was against UNC where we're up like at least like 2 points at the end of the first half, and then second half we just couldn't really do anything because then next Cameron Johnson was making so many threes. So it's the same aspect where you see some of these college teams and some of the NBA teams have a good first half, but it's all about, can you play the full length?
Before we get into tonight's action, we saw the Clippers. Denver got out early. They had a nice lead early in the first quarter, and then I left the game. I came back, and the Clippers were on one of those magical runs. Obviously, season on the line coming up this weekend. Now Denver down 2-1. Is that series over, or do you think the Joker and they can regroup here, have tonight off, and find a way to steal Game 4 and bring it back to then the best out of 3?
Yeah, I think they can bring it back one. I think they might even the series here because in this next game, in Game 4, I think the issue with them is that they need to limit their turnovers. It's 16 turnovers as a team in Game 3, so they think they need to limit that, and also get a big amount of scoring from Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. They both shot horribly from the field yesterday. 2 of 9 from Michael Porter Jr. and 6 of 18 from Aaron Gordon. So you need those players to step up in big moments like this in the playoffs. So, it's a bit of a rotation. It's a bit of a rotation. How can this team able to rotate their team? Not only to mention that the bench for the Nuggets, where was it? It was nowhere to be seen. Russell Westbrook only had 3 points. Peyton Watson had 2 points, and Zeke Naji had 1 point. That's a combined 6 points out of your bench. That cannot win you a playoff game, and that's what led to that blowout.
3 games tonight. We'll start at 7 o'clock. Boston at Orlando. Boston leads 2-0. Opening number was 5.5 overnight. Now down to 4.5 at the Circa. Over under 198.5. Now 198. Unlike OKC, that was 9.5 point favorites. The books were telling us OKC was going to win the game. Were they going to cover? Celtics 12.5, 13-point favorites at home. The first game, 9.5, 10. Depends on where you shop. 10.5. No Tatum, no problem. Jaylen Brown 36 points. The books are a little unsure here which Boston team shows up. I'll just talk out loud because I don't have any inside information. The Celtics 4.5 point favorites, to me, tells me Tatum will not play tonight.
Yeah, as of yesterday, I think ESPN also reported that he was doubtful. He was doubtful for today, so we'll see how that updates. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be doubtful and unable to play tonight. That's why you see that line only at 4.5. Even then, still, it doesn't surprise me that there's still 4.5 favorites because I wish I don't think people expected to go any higher than 4.5 because obviously, again, as you mentioned, no Jason Tatum, but also the fact that they're also on the road. They're figuring Orlando's starting to figure them out a little bit, but the problem is how can they really defend them because they're going to shoot as the cream of the crop, as you know, Jeff, that they'll shoot a lot of threes. But in terms of the prop betting, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Since you mentioned Jaylen Brown, we're going to start with him. Since he scored 36 points in game two, don't see why not he would score over 23.5 points. Again, this was all last night, so they may be adjusting the lines. At plus 102, I got it last night with Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. It's gonna, barring that Jason J. Payton doesn't play tonight, I think obviously he's gonna be the number one option to score. And then Derek White for 4+ made threes. He is be able to make in game one was 7 out of 12 from three. He also takes an average range of 7 to 12 3-pointers per game, especially recently. So it's gonna be another win for the Celtics. It's just a matter of the margin.
Well, then it will come down to Sunday. Is it a gentleman's sweep? Will they sweep Orlando and get ready, get healthier? As we know, the unicorn, Mr. Porzingis, took a pretty good elbow, but still came back and played. And again, I think for Celtics and Celtic fans, hey, if we can take the next two and rest Tatum to get healthier for the next series, then the locals will be happy there. The next one's a little interesting here. And I read the market here. Indiana, Milwaukee, 8 o'clock tip-off. Overnight number, Milwaukee -3 with a 229.5. Now 5.5 with a 231. Some sharp money came in on the Bucks. The Bucks stops here. Giannis and company. Thoughts there?
I don't think they're gonna be able to do it. I think that the Indiana will still take the series. I don't know if it's gonna be a gentleman's sweep per se, because that would be, I mean, first off, that would be bad for the front office and it'd be a bad look for the Bucks. But I think they at least will take one game out of the series. I don't think it's tonight though. I think that even though that the Pacers are still on the road, they are favorites. I would take them on this. I would take the cover to 5.5. But in terms of the prop betting, I think that Tyrese Haliburton has been on a roll. So we're still gonna take him at the double-double. I think we had him last time we spoke in the first when we first talked about the Pacers. We're gonna go with them -150. We're gonna go with them -150. The line has actually moved with the double-double in the last 7. Out of his last 7 to 8 and 7 of his last 8 games, he was able to record a double-double. And in both these first 2 games, he was able to get a double-double. So I don't see why he doesn't do that again today. And then we'll go an easy one with Pascal Siakam. 4 out of his last 5 games, he was able to score 20+ points. So we're going to do that at -128. In game 1, he had 25. Game 2, he had 24. So straight up, easy money I think it would be easy money for both these players.
Last game, the granddaddy of them all, 9:30 tip-off. Lakers at Minnesota. They travel. Luka and LeBron tied up at 1-1. Overnight, Minnesota -2.5 with the 207.5. Now it's tipped to 3.5, -5 cents. Jeff Benson at the Circa. Good morning. Next move with the -5 cents back to 3 there. A 207.5. This looks like this could be one of those 6-7 game series. Thoughts on Lakers, LeBron, and Luka traveling to Minnesota?
Yeah, I think the same thing. When Coach and I did our podcast this week, I agreed with him that this series, along with the Houston and Golden State series, is going to go at least 6 to 7 games. I believe that this series will actually go 7 games because of how competitive these two games are. These two teams are. But I'm fully going on Luka Doncic because he's done it. He's done it time and time again throughout the playoffs when he was with Dallas and now currently with the Lakers. First off with Luka Doncic, we're going 30 plus points because he's done that in these first 2 games. He's 37 in the first game and 31 in the second game. He scored 30 plus points in 6 out of his last 7 games. So we're taking him at a -138 to score 30 plus points. And also 8 plus rebounds for Luka Doncic. We're keeping it a little chalky, so if you want to parlay this, it comes out to, I believe, 1+134 last time. I did it last night. So you can get some plus money there. Definitely parlay these two. He's recorded 8 rebounds in his last 4 straight games for Luka Doncic, and he's probably, in my opinion, one of the best rebounding guards in the game. So it's going to be a tough series for this team between the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I believe that the Lakers will come out and actually win this series. Coach thinks differently. He thinks the Timberwolves will actually upset them, which I'm not surprised about because Anthony Edwards has been an absolutely lights out. It's just a matter of how the other players on this team can actually do, especially with Julius Randle, how easy he able to play, because we've seen him at the Knicks. He's been hot headed where he's going to just drive down to the lane to be so one dimensional, to where he just drives down to the rim and just tries to shoot a team out. So that's going to be the main factor. Can Julius Randle be able to contribute to the team, or just have total vision and just falter the Timberwolves out? Other than that, it's going to be Lakers all the way this series.
Before we let you go, a couple other series over the weekend. Cleveland will travel to Miami. There, Cleveland wins the first 2 games. I'll be interested to see some opening numbers there. The assumption is obviously Cleveland will win this series, like Orlando and Boston. Will it be a sweep? Will it be a gentleman's sweep? What are you thinking? Cleveland, Miami over the weekend.
Yeah, the ESPN bet has Cleveland at 6.5, so that's a little steep on my end. I would expect at least the game to go over. It's ESPN bet has it at 213.5. I'm probably leaning on that over. I think they'll score right around that number, or at least by 215. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep, as you mentioned, because I don't think that the Heat have enough firepower to actually be able to at least win one game in the series. We'll move on to the next, because I think Cleveland is, again, as I mentioned to you in our very first appearance, that Cleveland's only competitive team is only the Boston Celtics, and you know that for sure. So it wouldn't be surprising that you would see an Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, as always, we're looking forward to next week. We'll bring you back on Thursday and Friday as we can talk what you saw over the weekend, where the series are when we get back here on Thursday and Friday. But as we always wrap up this segment, Matthew, tell everyone where they can find your work. I always pimp you out of Sports Grid, Sirius XM, but tell everyone, I own a grad here. You're enjoying this side of the mic. We're glad to have you on this side of the mic as you do amazing work, of course, with Coach Young as well.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Then you can find me on X at Sergeant S Labs _sports on Twitter. Just been posting a lot of the the recap from today with Jeff Dawson. We did that yesterday. And you can find us on Sports Grid. I do a show from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Wednesday, with Scott Wetzel and Dave Sherapan. You will see Jeff Dawson also come in as well. And Coach James Young and I do an NBA and college basketball podcast, and also WNBA as well. Tuesday and Thursday it gets released. We record Monday and Wednesday, so it gets released the next day. And also I do audio work at Sirius XM as well. I will say also, Jeff, as well, the Packers with the NFL draft, the Packers finally did it after almost 2 decades, or actually 23 years. They have done it. They have drafted Matthew Golden, the first wide receiver since 2002. I'm very excited to see how he does with the Packers, because they definitely need a wide receiver help.
Well, the funny thing is that first wide receiver since Javon Walker, who was a great fantasy player for us back in the day. And let me just tell you from my perspective, you have a wide receiver room with a lot of, let's just say, 1A, 1B, and from a fantasy perspective, it's so hard. Is it Romeo Dubs? You know, you have, and my brain, I cannot believe I'm falling on all these because you have a wide receiver there that can never stay healthy, and I always get stuck with him once in a while. But you got 4 or 5 pieces, and Golden slides all the way to you. And I was looking at the board. There was another cornerback there you could have drafted. You have 2 healthy tight ends. Your running backs situation is okay. To finally say, you know, the hell with it. Here you go. Here's your alpha, Jordan Love. Here you go, Matthew Golden. And I think that was more for the fans because even the GM comes up, Mr. Murphy, and says, all right, guys, we're going to do something we haven't done in 2 decades.
Yeah, and it's very satisfying to see that they actually do make this kind of move. I do agree with you. Christian Watson has just been on and off the floor. I think that's what the probably you were mentioning with him because he was like not to be seen for most of the season, and this was a non-factor in the playoffs. Jaden Reed, I think, is one of the better wide receivers in the league. It's just a matter of if he can also stay healthy. He's been a real benefactor for this team, so I think they only can compliment with Matthew Golden. And the biggest surprise to me, or I wouldn't say the biggest surprise, but also the big major factor that the Packers will also have is also Tucker, at least on the offensive end, is Tucker Kraft, because he's in various situations he'd be able to convert for touchdowns, especially in the red zone. So if this team, along with Josh Jacobs, who had a really good season, if this team can be able to create an offense where they can just be able to just fly around and to throw to Matthew Golden really deep, and also Jaden Reed, if you have those two deep receivers, and then Christian Watson and Tucker Kraft being those slot receivers, it's going to be a very, very good season for the Packers. I'm hoping at least a double-digit 11-5 type of season next season.
Well, again, I was high on Jordan Love. I liked what he did 2 years ago in Dallas when they put up almost 50 points. Again, that wide receiver, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Dante Wicks. The list is endless. You added Tucker Kraft. Josh Jacobs had a great year. In comes Matthew Golden now. So it's going to be a great year there. You need some consistency. A tough division as the Bears add another weapon to Caleb Williams with shocking the world. They took Loveland over Tyler Warren, which was kind of surprising there. DJ Moore still there. Keenan Allen supposedly, potentially going back to San Diego. LA. There, of course, you got the Lions. We don't know what the Vikings with JJ McCarthy will look like, but we'll have you all fall talking Packers, talking NFC East. We can't thank you enough, Matthew. Have a great weekend. And if I don't catch you early in the week on Sports Grid, we'll make sure we have you here on Thursday and Friday. How's that?
Of course. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Go follow Matthew on X. Catch him on Sirius Radio. Catch him on the Sports Grid in-game live. This kid, I'm telling you, you want to follow him. You trust me on this. He's got some good insight. He's got winners. He puts the work in, and he's one of the rising stars in our lanes. Quick commercial break, and we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
What a way to kick off Friday. NCAA Insiders, of course, Matt Grissom, Nick Hathcote talking midweek recap, talking about some big games and series in the NCAA college baseball as we get closer to conference championship week, and of course the regionals, super regionals, and then Omaha keep an eye on that Texas A&M series. It's going to be a fun one. Then, of course, Mr. Matthew George, back from last night's 4-1 night, back today with some more insights, some props, some lanes. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter, Sports Grid, and of course, Sirius XM Radio. Around 1:15, 1:30-ish, Scotty Webb will be back. We're going to talk Friday Night Lights MLB. Some big series there. Cubs hosting the Phillies at 2:20 at Wrigley. Full baseball slate there. NFL draft tonight, of course, rounds 2 and 3. Where will Shador go? Does he go second pick to Cleveland? I don't know. Again, you're not just drafting Shador, you're drafting Dion too. And if you were going to go this way, I think you would have stayed at 2, drafted Travis Hunter, and then boom, you got the hookup with Shador Sanders. But what do I know? So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the NCAA Insiders, from Matthew George, we wish everyone a blessed day. We'll be back in about an hour or so. Stay tuned.